A lot of players are disappointed we don't have the Type 5 and Type 4 heavies in World of Tanks Blitz. Honestly, I could really care less. I'm a huge fan of the Japanese heavy line, stemming from the Chisei, the Type 68, and the Type 71, all looking pretty nice in my personal opinion, and featuring super confident and comprehensive playstyles. In today's video, I'm specifically going to be playing in the Tier 8, as this is where I'm currently at on the Japanese line. I'll be having the Type 68 fairly soon. I do have enough credits to buy it, but I also have the mouse researched, and I need 6 million credits to purchase it, and then I need to upgrade it. So as of right now, I'm going to get my hands on the Type 68 after I get the mouse, and then I'll make a video on this tank, and then hopefully maybe a day or so later I'll be able to research the Type 71, and then I'll make my review on that vehicle. Overall, the line is fantastic, and the Chisei is one of the best Tier 8s in the game. Like, period. It's just an amazing tank. Its upper plate is ridiculously strong. It's about 270 millimeters base, and running enhanced armor like I am is going to increase it upwards of 280 to 290. When you're using gun depression, essentially, good luck. You're not going to pen the upper plate at all. The lower plate is only weak right in between the track wheels, which actually makes it quite hard to hit as it's a small lower plate, and it's quite hard at distance as well. So it's just a really good armor profile. Taking a look at the armor profile and the effective values, you can truly get a feel for how strong this vehicle is. We have a T-32 running calibrated shells, so this is a good 230 mils a pen. Pretty average for a Tier 8 heavy. This is what standard ammo looks like when aiming at a Chisei. The upper plate is 305 with enhanced armor. That is insane. That means even TDs are going to struggle to pen this vehicle on flats. I should also mention that with gun depression, it gets even better, 330, and I'm running improved gun depression, which means I can get upwards of 9 degrees. So it's more like this. Yeah, you're never going to pen that upper plate, ever, even if you're in a TD. But that begs the question, how about the turret? Now, I will be real, it's not the best. We can see that it's around 260, and that's not bad by any means. Mediums will struggle, and lower-tiered vehicles are basically going to have no chance whatsoever. But it's definitely not anything impossible to cut through. But as we can see, once you start to apply gun depression, the turret becomes much harder to pen. And if you run the gun depression module like I do, using over 9 degrees, like this, then the vehicle is actually just about impossible for a T-32 to cut through anywhere. And by the way, this is a lot of pen, about 280 millimeters of premium pen. So it's not like this vehicle has bad armor in any way, shape, or form. At the end of the day, the Chisei's armor does have weak spots, but if used correctly, can literally feature some of the most ridiculous armor in the game. Today, I'll be showcasing 2 battles in the Chisei, both with different equipment. We're going to be running one of these games with improved V-stabs. This is going to give you more gun depression, sitting at 9 degrees rather than 6, and as we just showcased on the armor, making the tank a heck of a lot more effective. Then I'm going to showcase another game where we are running improved suspension, and showcase how the mobility advantages can also help you, especially when climbing big hills. At the end of the day, it really depends on what you personally like more. I like gun depression. I like being able to work any ridgeline, any position I get myself stuck in, rather than getting there a little bit sooner. And sure, being able to wiggle does cause it to be a bit harder to pen your hull and your weak spots, but I still like the ability to work hull down. I think it makes a tank like this much more enjoyable. So we're going to take a look at 2 replays. Now, before I show these replays, I want to point out that neither of these games are cherry-picked. I have 7 games in the tank in total, 100% win rate, 3,263 average damage. So it's not like these are special games. These are just out of the ordinary battles that I've played in the Chisei, and I figured I would showcase them to witness what the tank can do. Now, it's not just the armor that makes this tank good. It's also the fact that it's got pretty good mobility, upwards of a top speed being 35. That's not incredibly fast, but when you compare the armor on this tank to something like a Tiger II, it's pretty good mobility. You also need to remember that the Chisei features a much better gun than a vehicle like the Tiger II. This vehicle has 310 damage per shot, but 2500 DPM, which is already really good for a tier 8 heavy. But it gets better because this vehicle also has 270 millimeters of premium pen. That's a lot, and it's AP premium. That means essentially armor is gonna be like butter when using this vehicle, and it's going to allow the tank to work any real situation pretty dang easily. So what do we have in front of us? We got a VK-45 and a T-34. Well, we're going to get a pen into the T-34, and funny enough, I actually got overmatched on the roof of my tank. I'm not sure if that was just bad luck, or maybe the shell hit my hatch and just didn't actually show it hit there, but either way, it's not too much of a worry. It's only 200 damage. By the way, good example there of us buttering right through the upper plate of a Tiger, even with running Gun Rammer. I mean, the pen on this tank is more than enough. It's incredible, actually. So right now, we're just doing our best to get some bounces, work Hull down, and get our main job done. We haven't gotten too many bounces yet, but to be fair, we did get shot in the lower plate from the VK, so that makes sense. We get a nice crossing shot into the enemy T-34, and at this point, I'm going to make my way around base A. We can see that the enemy Semovente isn't looking at us, and he shot at one of my teammates. So I'm going to take advantage of him being on reload, and the fact that there's nobody contesting me, and now we're going to use that 9 degrees of gun depression we have to basically bully the existence out of these poor heavies in front of us. We're going to plop on our adrenaline, increasing our DPM upwards of 3,000 now, and we're going to get just shell after shell into our poor opponents, finishing off the enemy T-34. Now, I know that the Semovente is still in that bush back there, so I'm going to make sure that he can't see me, stay behind the rock, and finish off this Tiger too. I was thinking that my G-Sor is going to get him, but G-Sor actually bounces. I guess you can't trust teammates, so I'm going to turn back, finish off the enemy Tiger 2, and now head over towards the Semovente. Well, we can see that gun depression was quite nice in this battle. I was able to work Hull down, I was able to get shots into my opponents, and where I normally would have had to position my vehicle differently, we didn't have to worry at all because of the fact we're using the gun depression. But mobility would definitely be better for a situation like this, climbing up this hill to try and outmaneuver the Semovente and get to the side of him. Obviously, having that better acceleration and better traverse speed would also be quite nice. So it's again back and forth on what I would consider to be better, mobility or gun depression. At the end of the day, this battle turned out to be pretty good either way. We tried to shoot the side of the Semovente, but seems like my luck just didn't really like me. The shell went an inch too high and actually hit the engine deck, ricocheting off. I probably should have fired HE in retrospect, but it doesn't matter. He's dead anyways. We are already up to 3,300 damage at this point, but we're not done. There's an enemy Magnate left, and this Magnate makes a crucial mistake. This player only needs 2 shells to finish me off, and he's full health currently. But we have just got our adrenaline back, bringing us once again upwards of 3,000 DPM. That means we only need about 15 seconds of shooting to finish off this vehicle. So just like that, in 3 shots, we've brought a full health Magnate down to a 1 shot. I mean, that is insane. Now we are going to get 1 more shell and finish him off. I mean, is there much else I really need to say about the Chisei? We did 4,500 damage in this battle. We pulled out a mastery, we pulled out a high caliber, and we were able to make a boatload of credits, being 165,000. The vehicle is just incredible, and even though we didn't block a crazy amount at 1,500, that's still a pretty solid amount, almost a full health's worth of hit points. So, yeah. I think the Chisei is pretty insane. Now that we've gone over the gun depression, how about we break into mobility? This time we're on Castilla. Now I'm pretty grateful that I was running mobility, because Castilla is a map that I always advocate for not to go to C side. Usually going to A is much more beneficial than going to C. Up against us, what do we have? An IS-3, Tiger 2, and a Tiger 1 when it comes to heavies. But because we're more likely expecting to go up against the mediums rather than heavies, judging on the pathing I'm going to take, we actually should be looking at the T-44 and CS-52 LIS. We're going to be making our way alongside our CS and Magnate up towards A. Now the bad news is our Magnate is stock. The good news is at least he goes to medium side, which is about all I can say. We're going to run into the T-44 and start climbing our way up the hill. I can actually skip ahead a little bit because this is kind of a boring drive. Now this example right here is a perfect situation where mobility is much better than gun depression. Because imagine how much slower I would be climbing up this hill right now if I was running gun depression. I would be going boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom. Yeah. Even with mobility, the tank is still not incredibly fast. But what is nice is our DPM. This T-44 makes a crucial mistake driving in front of our TDs in the back, and literally gets turned into toothpaste. So just like that, yeah, long live the enemy T-44. We did see the CS in front of us, but he ran. He saw me climb up the hill, he was like, I ain't got time for that, goodbye. So he's gone. At this point, I'm making the decision to push through mid. I know that I could go wide and shoot the heavies, but why would I? They're going to push on my T-34 and IS, so it'd be much smarter to push straight ahead, cut them off in the middle, and just have the help of my team, which is already here. So we get a nice shell into the enemy CS, and now we're going to try and get another shell. Well, I don't know where that shell went. Well, I know where it went. I just don't like where it went, is a better way to describe it. We were pretty well aimed on his tank, just RNG didn't like me. But look at that, we've already blocked 980 damage. You can see where people really struggle to know where to shoot this vehicle, especially in Tier 8. Like, Tier 10, yeah, you're actually going to go up against a decent chunk of skilled players every now and then. But in Tier 8, I mean, the majority of people you're going to fight in Tier 8, especially in a Tier 7 battle like this, is not going to be super skilled. Again, look at that premium pen. I'm running Rammer, and I can literally do that to the upper plate of a Tiger too. Like, that is insane. So we get another nice shell into the enemy CS. The magnate's on our sides. I give him a little bit of room to get around me. And there you go, the CS gets shot again. We're going to aim it on the side of the AT. I guess my shell just low rolls the pen value and doesn't cut through the side of his vehicle, because that was clearly a penetrable surface, but doesn't matter. We're going to load in a premium shell to guarantee the pen this time, and finish him off. Okay, we got the SU in front. We're just going to wiggle. He doesn't shoot me. We're going to fire at the CS, and yeah, I'll be honest, that wasn't the best shot for me. But it doesn't matter. We're going to ram him. He dies from the ram, and just like that, another incredibly easy victory. This was not the highest damage game ever. In fact, this is probably the lowest damage game I have played in the Chisei yet. But it doesn't take away from the fact that this is an incredible tank. The mobility, the armor, the DPM, the penetration, everything about this vehicle is amazing. And I would highly recommend for anybody that doesn't have the Type 71 to grind down the line, especially because next update, it's getting quite a substantial buff in its pen and damage per shot. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.